Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki, known here as the One-Handed Bandit, and today I created this blue eye look. It is a glitter cut crease, and I used some of my Juvias Place palettes, and if you would like to see how I created this look, keep watching.
Are you listening?
I am starting out with my brows already done, and I'm using this Makeup Revolution concealer in C12, which I also use to carve out my brows as well. And I'm just gonna blend that all out. And I'm not gonna set this concealer because I want my colors to pop and be very pigmented. So I'm starting out with the Afrik palette, and I'm using this navy blue shade in the palette, and I recently made a purchase with the crayon case, and as you can see I'm using some of the brushes from the crayon case, and this is the pencil set, and it is a set of 7 brushes, and I do like these brushes. They are very good for blending. So I'm just adding that blue shade, and I'm doing it more in a circular shape and just stamping that color on just to get the placement. And I'm just packing that color on both eyelids. Next, I'm going in with my Zulu palette, and I'm using this, well, I think it's more of a turquoise, light blue, baby bluish side of the spectrum, and I'm just using that on the outer part of that dark blue shade, and then I'm just gonna blend that lighter blue shade out. So just slowly packing the color on, and then I do a lot of blending with this dark blue and light blue shade. I mean, this was an hour-long video, and I cut a lot of that blending out so that I didn't present you with an hour-long video of me blending those two blues out. And then I'm just going back and forth with the two brushes like I mentioned before, with the lighter blue and the darker blue, and just building them both up, getting the pigmentation that I desire from the two. So next I'm going to cut my crease, and this is a technique that I recently learned. So I'm using a Q-tip, and it's one of the ones that has a point at the end, and I'm using my makeup remover, and I just applied that to the end of my Q-tip, and I'm just cleaning up and carving out my crease with the makeup remover. And I do love this technique. It gives me more of a precise cut crease. So now that the crease is already cut, I'm going to go in with this base by the crayon case, and I am just going to add that to the back of my hand, and then I'm just going to apply that base with a concealer brush, and I'm just tapping it on my lid and blending it out with my finger. And now I go back into the Zulu palette, and then I'm going to use this a lighter blue shade. It is a shimmer shade, and I'm going to add that to the inner portion of my eye. And I'm also using another brush from that crayon case set, and this one is the small cream blush. And then I go back into the Festival palette and then I use this darker blue shade, and I'm using that same brush but I just flipped it over, and then I add that to the outer portion of my lid and I just pack that color on, and then I go back and forth with the two shades. And as you can see, that one from the Festival is just a little bit deeper than that first shade. So I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with my eyes, so I did go off camera and I added a glitter liner and lashes as well off camera. And the lashes that I use are by More Lashes by Tiffany, and they are in the style Party Girl. And this is the pink glitter liner that I use, just a random glitter from Amazon. And as you can see, what I'm doing here is just adding that in the cut crease. And I did this eye a little thicker than I did the other one, so I'm just adding a little bit more so that they can balance out and be more even. And then I went in with my NYX liquid liner. It's the matte liner, and I just lined my bottom lashes, well, the bottom lash line. And that liner was giving me a little bit of trouble today. I cannot just get this liquid liner perfect, but you know, I do try. So now that I have the liner somewhat perfect, I'm going to apply the other lash, and that is again More Lashes in the style Party Girl. And now that we have our lashes on, I'm going to start with my face application. I'm using my Too Faced Born This Way foundation and my Nars foundation. I'm just going to mix the two because one is light and one is too dark. So when you mix the two, you do get an even balance. And I've already primed off camera. I used the Touch and Soul No Pore Blend Primer. And I'm just going to blend out that foundation with my foundation brush. I'm really loving this combo of these two foundations. So I also picked up some concealers from the Crayon case, and these are the two 12 and 13. Now I do think I could have went a little lighter with my concealers, but you know, these are good for neutral looks, and I actually like the Crayon case concealers. They're very creamy. So as you can see here, this concealer is closer to my foundation shade, so I do go in and add some of my Too Faced concealer, which is a tad light, and I go in and blend that out as well. Now that that concealer is all blended, it's time to set, and I also picked up the Chalk Dust Setting Powder from the Crayon case as well. And this one I have is in letter N. And this is what that setting powder looks like, very similar to the Sacha Buttercup setting powder. And I just add that under my eye just to set, and I actually like this setting powder as well. And I just add it in all the places that I'd like to highlight. And to set the rest of my face, I'm using my Sephora Micro Smooth powder just all over my face. And now it's time to contour or bronze. I'm using my Prime Beauty bronzer in the shade Bronzeville, and I'm loving this NYX brush to bronze up my skin. So now I go in another Juvias Place palette. This is the Blush Volume 2 palette, and I use this orange shade called Toby. And I do go a little bit overboard with the blush, but I do blend that out with my brush as well. And now going back into the Festival palette, I'm adding this white shade in my inner tear duct. And in the Festival palette, once again, I'm going in with this bright pink shade, adding that to my bottom lash line, trying to match it with that glitter liner that I added in my crease. And I'm going to set with my Anastasia Dewy Set setting spray, and I'm just going to completely drown myself with that setting spray. I actually love it. And I'm trying to decide on which two lips I'm going to use, so I decided to leave that alone for a second and just highlight with my Anastasia loose highlighter in So Hollywood. And look at that. That looks like liquid gold on my cheeks. It looks like God is smiling down on my skin. I love this highlighter. So I just pretty much go overboard with that highlighter, adding it in all the places that I want to highlight. And I also have this blue shade from the Crayon case in the shade Presidential. So it's very similar to that navy blue shade that I added in my crease. So I'm just going to line my lips with it. It is a very pretty shade. I was going to add it all over, but then when I saw how it looked and it blended out, I knew exactly what to do. So I'm going in with this lighter blue shade from Sephora. It's a lip stain and it is in the number 30. And I just add that to the inner portion of my lips, and I just move my lips back and forth just to make sure that they are blended out very nicely and evenly. And then I go back in and clean up, making sure my lines are sharp. And we have come to the end of the video. I hope that you have enjoyed me creating this blue eye look using some of my Juvias Place palettes as well as some products from the Crayon case. I hope that you have liked and subscribed. Click the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload videos, and I will see you in the next one.